Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us in the first of the two talks that we are going to have during this amazing live from Castle Ciccone. As you know, this broadcast takes place because of Imaging USA virtual show is taking place on the 17th, 18th, and 19th of January. So we took the opportunity to create even more contents if possible and to gather some of our friends from all over the place. And so the aim today is to talk with you guys about yourself as entrepreneurs, as photographers, as lovers of this incredible discipline. With me today, let me show you and share the stage with my friend Mauricio Arias, multi-awarded photographer that shares this passion with you guys. Don't look around, it's you, Mauricio. Yeah, I'm talking about you. And yeah, like I said, we are talking about photography today. And we took this opportunity to go through three different but simple concepts, such as community, longevity, and building a trustful relationship as the fundamentals for every entrepreneur. So let me introduce you. I will start clockwise from our friend Martin Baynes, chairman of BIPP, British Institute of Professional Photography. Martin, welcome. Then we have Sean LeBlanc from Canada. Ciao, Sean. Really great photographers, an icon ambassador, and I'd say one of the most interesting case history in this industry, definitely. And Mauricio, that I already introduced. And from Nigeria, Africa, Según Olotu, multi-awarded photographer, entrepreneur, and multifaceted personality that I had the pleasure to meet some years ago. So welcome back. Yeah. And we are waiting also for a few more. We will introduce the guests for tomorrow in the next session. So back to you guys. So Mauricio, would like to go through the first question in a way? Yes. And introduce the topic.
So like Daddy was saying before, we want to talk about community, longevity, and building truthful relationships, and how is this important in a personal and in our community, in our family, in the institutions, as a professional, and the business world. So I wanna know, first of all, like in our careers we have ups and downs, and I wanna hear you guys talking a little bit first about these downs. Let's talk about a little bit, and if you guys are willing to share a story of some time that maybe things didn't go exactly planned, but the most important part, what is the lesson? What you guys learn, and how really having this type of experience really help you to nurture yourself, and is part of a process. So I want to know and hear something. It could be personal, could be related to photography, could be related to anything. I just want to listen to you guys now, and let's start from you, Mr. Martin.
So speaking about community, you're bringing an association point of view.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, so I represent professional photographers in the UK. We have an organisation where we help train them, we qualify them and educate them, and community is a big thing. I've been involved in photography pretty much all my life. I studied photography at college. I worked as a cruise ship photographer for a little while. I came back to the UK after a number of years of working overseas and did a few different jobs, tried assisting and things like that. And as I say, one of the kind of the downs I had, I would say, is actually where I decided that I thought, well, maybe photography isn't for me. The problem is that photography is in your blood. I think if you're involved in photography in any way, shape or form, it's something and it's a very difficult industry to move out of to try anything else. I worked for 2 years for a telecommunication company, but my heart just wasn't in it. It was reasonable money. It was an enjoyable-ish job, but I just missed, first of all, photography. I missed the community. I missed the people. And there's something about, photographers don't retire. They very rarely move to a different industry because it's such a unique position and a unique thing to be in. And, you know, from me still involved in photography, I don't really take pictures anymore. I do personally, but not for money. But, you know, when we talk about wedding photographers, they're capturing the most important part of somebody's life. I mean, that's an incredible position to be in. Or people who do family photography, that they're capturing a unique second or a snapshot of somebody's as they move through life. And even commercial photographers, and we represent them as well. It's you know, they get into some amazing places and see amazing things, whether it's nuclear power stations or the inside of a jet engine plane, or it's just I really believe it's an amazing industry. And we also in our organisation we qualify the Ministry of Defence photographers, so we see some really interesting work from them. Medical photographers, forensic photographers. So it's such a vast and wide range of things that, as I say, once it's in your blood, you can never get it out of your blood. And as I say, the mistake that I made is thinking that the grass is somewhere, you know, it's greener. I moved industries, and within 2 years, I was knocking on the door to try and break back into it. And I'm turning 50 in 5 or 6 weeks' time. So happy birthday to me, 50. Never thought I'd make it. Thank you. And my life since being 14 has been really about photography. And I think it will remain that way until I'm no longer here. So yeah, it's a great industry to be in.
So Martin, when you left, you mentioned that you left the industry for a couple of years. What made you want to try something new at that time?
I think partly because I come back to the UK. I was 24, maybe 25, and I'd kind of, if you come out of the UK, I was working before I left for an electronics company. I was an industrial photographer, and I'd left. I was away for 7 or 8 years. When I came back, I moved to London, and I was almost too old to be an assistant, but not experienced enough to be a photographer. So I kind of fell between the gaps and struggled to find any work. So I was very lucky that the job that I did get in telecommunications was a very good job. It was in sales, which I found that I was much better at talking than photographing, which is still the case. And I kind of fell back into photography on a sales and marketing side, but still involved with it. And I just still love it. I still have such a passion for photography and anything to do with photography. And for those who don't know me, I was honoured, and still my favourite job. I actually worked for Graphistudio for Jeremy in the UK for 11 years, and we just had an amazing time. It was a wonderful experience to have, and the family that you feel part of working with Graphistudio is incredible.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Sean.
Yeah. All right.
So
do you want me? I can talk a little bit about how I got into photography, and then also, talk about your question, Mauricio. So, I guess it was about 10 years ago, I went on a mountain biking trip to Moab, Utah. And before I went out on that trip, I got my first DSLR camera. It was a beautiful landscape, and I wanted to take some photographs. And it was on that trip that I found myself, just playing around with my camera, and really fell in love with photography at that time. And I did very little mountain biking. And when I got back to Calgary, I found myself, wanting to photograph families, which eventually led into weddings and destination weddings. And I was doing this all the while I was an engineer. I used to work at a big energy company here in Calgary. And then in, I guess it was 2016, I had the opportunity to photograph a wedding in Japan, a destination wedding, which is an incredible opportunity. And it was one that I almost missed because of all of my corporate world commitments as an engineer. And so it was really at that time that I considered leaving the corporate world to pursue my passion for photography. And so 2.5 years ago, I did make the leap of faith and resign from the corporate world to do photography full time. And so it is a strong passion for me. And like Martin was saying, it's kind of in your blood. And it's just something that, you know, I think about when I get up in the morning, and I'm thinking about it all day, and when I go to bed at night as well. So it's definitely a strong passion for me. And in terms of, you know, I've definitely had lots of failures along the way. And so one that really comes to mind, often these failures come with marketing initiatives. And so I always like to try new things just to keep it fresh. And so I tried one marketing initiative. This was last year, where I reached out to a local company here in Calgary to run a campaign together. And so we ended up doing that. It was a contest where we both contributed, you know, a big prize to it. And we had lots of leads, but what I found is that the leads were not my ideal clients. They weren't sort of in that target market that I, you know, really want to work with. And so it was an incredible amount of effort, an incredible, you know, it was a big investment as well. But most importantly, you know, it was a lot of time that I devoted to it. But what I learned from it is, you know, it really helped me focus in on the clientele that I want to work with. And so I'm very thankful for that. And so, you know, moving forward, it helped me change my mindset. And again, you know, these define the ideal client that I want to work with. And so I've carried that forward, and since then have started setting up alliances with, you know, finding out where my ideal clients like to shop, you know, what they like to do, and aligning my photography business with those businesses as well. So setting up alliances that way. And it's really helped sort of propel my business forward here.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. What about you, Según?
First and first, I want to say a big thank you for giving me the opportunity to be speaking today, because I mean, Mauricio only called me like 2 hours ago. You're gonna be there at 6 o'clock. I'm like, okay, when I get home, I should be able to do it. So I'm happy to be here. First and first, I think I started photography in 2010, but I used to work for Olympus. I used to be a salesman, and I was told if you sell so much, someone is gonna get a free camera. So I said, okay, you know, so I started, you know, selling. I got my first camera, which was an EP1 Olympus camera, and I took that camera out, started taking some rubbish images, you know, because I was not really a photographer. But I mean, along the line, and I, you know, my photography started from church. So I was like, you know, I have a camera, I can take pictures on Sundays in church. You know, my pastor was like, okay, let's see what you can do. Then I started taking pictures in church. People started falling in love with the images. Then I started going out on the street to do more of street photography. Then in 2011, I started shooting weddings. Then that was just a turnaround for me, shooting weddings till now. And about 2013 or 14, I went for Mauricio's workshop, and I was not badass or whatever, but I just said, you know, I needed to invest in myself. So I went there, and, you know, Mauricio kind of like critiqued me, and I felt bad about myself. And the next time I found myself sleeping, thinking about my life. And Mauricio took some photographs of me on that day, you know. So, but from there, one thing I really loved about myself was the fact that I was able to invest in myself, because most people don't really kind of like invest in themselves. And I kind of like brought down my ego, you know, just for me to get to the next phase of my life in photography. And I traveled around. I went to Canada for Daniel and Davina's workshop, did Ben Chrisman's workshop, and so many workshops like that. And that kind of like helped my photography, and I was happy about myself. And in 2016, I think I called Mauricio as well. I was like, you know what? I'm thinking of doing a conference in Nigeria, because the kind of images I see in Nigeria, I think we need to kind of like change and reshape the photography in my country to look like, the way it is in the Western world and all that. And they were like, okay, cool. So Mauricio was the first speaker that said, okay, you know what, I'll come speak in Nigeria. And I was like, okay, awesome. So I did the first one in 2017, did the second one in 2018, 2019, but I never thought about profit, because it was more of like giving back to the community in Nigeria, but it was very expensive. Very, very expensive, because I have to fly in so many speakers. But So it got to a point I looked at everything. I was like, maybe I needed to learn more about business before I just jump into, doing a conference and all that, because I spent so much of my savings in running the conference. But 2019, I said to myself, I spoke to my wife, and I said, 2020, we're not doing any conference, but not knowing that, Corona was going to come, in play, and that just took me out of it. 2021, I'm still thinking about it. So the down part of my story in photography and trying to create a community is the fact that I didn't really know much about the business part of it, but I just went into it, thinking I was gonna keep going on and on, trying to give back to the community. So that's me.
It's funny you should say that. It's from my association point of view, or when I was working for Graphistudio, we found one of the biggest problems with photographers in the businesses that it wasn't their photography. They were award-winning photographers, some of them, they amazing photographers, but you would see where the weak part of it was the business. And what we had to do in our office in London was we started running kind of sales and just how to sales and marketing courses, just like 101 sales, the steps or the processes that you have to step through to make a sale. And we really felt that was helping and educating our customers, which eventually would help us. But yeah, it's amazing that a lot of people, just like you've said, it's exactly the same story that you've just told. They'll come, they'll find the love of photography, they kind of jump into it. And one of the difficulties is they don't understand profit and loss, they don't understand how to market, they don't understand that, they're doing it almost for the love of it. But as you have realized that it's got to be profitable, you've got to kind of live, you've got to pay your mortgage, you've got to feed your family. I think that's one of the most important things that we can educate photographers to do is as they become new into this industry is it's the biggest mistake that I used to see in most businesses is that they didn't understand the basics of running a business. But they were great photographers, and they would win awards. They were photographer of the year with all these different associations. But the next thing, they would come and go because they couldn't get that very, very important part of the jigsaw puzzle right. So it's a very interesting story, and it sounds like you've put it right now, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was taking notes of what you guys were saying, and you guys touch a little of everything, and I love it. I think talk about ego, talk about educating yourself, getting over yourself, investing in yourself, focusing, really finding and connecting with that, knowing who you are, that will allow you to know exactly who you can connect and talk to. That means you can go and find that ideal person that you want to work with as well. And the passion that is in your blood, the passion that all of you guys are mentioned, that there is some sparkle, something that really make you feel, something special, or something that it really give you energy and just help you to appreciate, the world probably, and the beauty of everything. So that's you find the path in your life. And even if you do it in professional or no professional way, but that's something that you can know, like you say, Martin, at the beginning, that is in your blood, it's something that you do it. Now I do it all the time on my phone, you can do, guys, with your family, with your kids, at any point, anywhere, but that passion is a factor that we all share. I think that's beautiful. Thank you guys for sharing those stories. We can talk about the next, want to see a little bit more of the up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, you said quite rightly the ups and downs in a photographer career, and so this brings me to the next one, which could be longevity. Mm-hmm. So I've seen a number of times, what would they call in the US the young guns? So new breeds approaching the market, and starting to get some results, whether it's an award or financial successes, but then going like with this trajectory like a shooting star, and possibly because they didn't plan for longevity, they didn't even think about that. It seems that oh well, look, I'm taking pictures, I'm making money, it's all good, I enter contests, I'm getting some awards, That's fine. It's all good. Let's teach someone something. And literally in the lifespan of 2-3 years, they are done. So my point is, this is not creating a better industry, although it's appealing because it's also an ego-related topic, if you will. So when they give you a stage, when they give you an audience or some exposure, you tend to feel the pressure on one end, but also this kind of bubbling feeling to be excited. So finally, you're doing something that actually gives you energy. But reality is that longevity is completely different. As every entrepreneur knows, longevity is something that you have to plan, you have to work hard, you have to put in place, and this means financially speaking, technically speaking, building relationships that will last with your suppliers, as well as with your teammates, as well as with your friends, associations, every key player in the industry. So what's your thought about that, Martin?
It's a really interesting thing that you're saying, and again, being involved in photography, but not making my money from photography. One of the things that I can say that I've seen, and exactly as you've just said, Dario, is that I've seen it so many times where photographers kind of come in, and the new kids on the block, or the new pop stars in our industry, and they fly, and you'll see them their Imaging USA on the stage, or WPPI, or the SWPP in the UK, and they get all this notoriety, and we all get sucked into it. And I remember saying to one of a good member of ours, and is a customer of Graphistudio, Scott Johnson, it happened to him. I remember taking him to one side and saying, look, you can't lose sight that you've got a business, because a lot of people get sucked into it and they chase this fame, and the fame doesn't lead to fortune in photography. That's it's not like a film star where the more films you get, the more money you get. You can't forget the core of your business. And I've seen it like you so many times, and it's really interesting. And I think longevity is about always thinking ahead, and I think it's about always continuing to learn. It's exactly when you talk about any business, whether it's photography, and you've seen it recently with Graphistudio in this downtime, in this quiet time, that they've invested all this money in this new technology, and you think, wow, they're already thinking 4 or 5 or 10 years ahead. That they've got this period where they're allowed to do that. And I think that photographers need to do exactly the same. They need to think, I need to do training in this, or move forward, or learn new techniques, or learn new marketing skills, because you always have to be moving forward. And the same for my career, in that I've gone now, obviously I've left Graphistudio, but that was because I have to move forward in my goals and my career, and now I'm the head of an organization, and I love that. But it was a very difficult move to make, because I was so comfortable in what I was doing, and I enjoyed it so much. But sometimes you have to push yourself to the next level to see what you are capable of doing. And that's true of any industry, of any person, or any photographer. That the ones that you see that are the most successful, that have longevity, that have able to retire with nice money in the bank, or good pensions, is that they've adapted through the years, moved through the years, tried different things, and always kind of looking to move on. And one of the things that I remember in one of the seminars with Jerry Giannis was that he said he loves teaching people where he's at and what he's doing, because by the time they've cut him up, he's moved on again. And I think that, he's giving back, but at the same time, he's always kind of not worried by bringing people on and educating people and people learning, because he's already kind of thinking about the next thing. So as people move through this cycle, I think that's really important as well. So yeah, longevity is everything. I mean, it's no good being a superstar in our industry for 2 or 3 years, because you have a working lifespan of 40, 50 years. So if you want to stay in our industry, then you really need to plan and think about that. And I know that I've been on a course, or a couple of courses with Sean, and some of the teachings that we've learned, that's exactly what it's about. It's about kind of building relationships and thinking, not 1 month or 2 months, it's 3, 4, 5 years. Where do we want the business to be? So yeah, very, very important, longevity.
Sean, you're an engineer. I'm sure you are a planner.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I started out photographing weddings. Would do about 30 a year. But what I came to realize is that I'm not always going to be a spring chicken. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, obviously. So those weddings, they start to take a toll on the body and I think just mentally as well. So, in terms of longevity, I started to look to the future and think about, where I wanted to go and, realize my strengths and my weaknesses as well. And sort of think about those areas I could improve on. And so that's why portraiture is a big part of my business now, because it's something that, I can do for a long time here in my studio. Also, it's something that, I can replicate and replicate successfully quite often. So that's really an area that I'm focused on going forward, specifically studio portraiture. So, but having the foresight, but also surrounding yourself with experienced professionals or experienced people that have been there, and just reaching out to them and learning from them. I take it upon myself to be a part of all these amazing communities that are available to me, and have no problem reaching out to the leaders of those communities to find out what they're doing, what's going on, and really put some deep thought into how I can apply that to my business going forward. As I was saying, I think about photography all day, so it's not it doesn't take a lot just to reach out and set up a conversation. And I'm always amazed. And the other thing I love about being an entrepreneur is you never know what new opportunities are going to come knocking when you start reaching out to those people in those communities. I never thought I'd be sitting here and, speaking to a team in Italy and the UK and Nigeria. But here I am. And that all came from, being inquisitive and again, just taking the initiative to reach out to the leaders in the industry.
It's really strange, Sean, as well. If you think about it, that when you talk about community and industry, we first met in Vegas in a studio, and then we met was it in Derby or in the UK? So we've met in 2 different countries over the last.
Nottingham.
Yeah, Nottingham. That was it. In the last 2-3 years. So our industry is a big industry, but it's globally it's a small world, isn't it? That we're who are you going to bump into next and where? I can't wait to go to Nigeria, to be honest. I'm waiting for the invite.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So for me, I think one thing that's helped me as well is like networking with people. Like I can travel from anywhere just to see somebody. I remember when I was trying to get the years of Mauricio, I traveled to Nicaragua from Nigeria.
Wow.
Even Mauricio's friends were like, it's not gonna come. But I came and they're like, oh, this is good. So for me,
He did. He went all the way.
For me, I believe in like connecting with people, learning from everyone that comes around me because they have something unique about themselves. So, and if I pick something from this guy, the other guy, and add to myself, it makes me a better person, right? And also not just keeping the knowledge to myself, but sharing it with other people as well, because I know there's something unique about me as well. So, and that's the reason why I also thought about, okay, how can I make more money, right? Shooting weddings, I know, but I always hear my dad and friends, they say double stream of income, right? You have to think about that. And I wouldn't lie, I didn't want to talk about Corona, but Corona really kind of like resets everybody's brain. Like people who were not saving enough money in the bank, they were just buying new gears, when this new gear comes out, everyone wants to buy, right? But so it falls back to double stream of income. I mean, photography is great. Photography is amazing. You can make loads of money from photography. But now that weddings are not like back in the days, you could shoot weddings about 200 guests, 300 guests. But right now, people are shooting weddings of like 15 guests, 20, 50, you understand? So would they still pay the same amount you used to charge back then? So it's really crazy. So that is why I kind of like took the route and I took right now doing other stuff in photography, because there's food photography there. People are not really looking at it. There's a mining photography. There are different types of photography. So for me, it's all about still learning from others. So even where I'm working now, I'm learning from people who do a lot of documentary stuff, like real hardcore documentary. You know, I'm watching a lot of online stuff, learning to improve myself, because I came in through weddings. I mean, weddings is also more of like documentary. You're waiting for moment to capture moment, but you're going into maybe a cave to tell a story of some guys in the cave. Are you scared? Or I don't know if you understand what I mean. So it's two different, you know. So I've put myself around people who have been doing that stuff for years, just to learn from them, so I can go into that route as well. So that's that for me.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Well, I heard so many good things, honestly, and I love that everything is related, and it's kind of like uniting all the ideas. Because when I think about longevity, I think about truthfulness, because I say truthfulness is the foundation of all human virtues. And you can have, for example, love, responsibility, or kindness, or like etc., different virtues of human. But if you don't have truthfulness, which is like a realness, not like just telling the truth, but actually being honest and transparent, you can put many things on top of it, but everything is going to come down, right? So in order to stay standing, no matter what, you know, the test of time, you got to be this genuine person, and this person with a good heart, that's what I feel, you know, from you guys. Having this good heart, really, it's what make you really stay longer, because that will make you make decisions. You know, like people, young, you know, I had experienced that with myself too. Like when you're young, always, you know, you tend to like satisfy yourself immediately, you know, like the immediate satisfaction. Now we live in a world with, is like everything is right like that. So, but smart decisions is decisions that are going to be, you know, in a long term. So maybe sometimes you have to sacrifice the immediate satisfaction, but then you have to think about making decisions that are going to last, you know, and relationships that are going to last. And sometimes being honest and being truthful, it requires a lot of, you know, being brave, and also being upfront with things. And that is hard, because that would maybe don't give you the quick, you know, fix, but it will really help you to build a relationship forever, you know, like friendships forever, like learning from people like all the time, like people will be open to you no matter what, you know. So that I think that's huge. All this what we're talking about, I feel like everything is following into place, really. I love it.
Yeah, I think I was just going to add one thing there, Mauricio.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of I guess over the last year or so, I've really worked on my mindset, you know, and sort of where, and even, you know, thinking about longevity, you know, where do I want to be in 5-10 years from now? And it does come back to mindset and sort of the energy that you put out into the universe, you know. If you're thinking good things all the time, and good things are going to happen, good things do happen. And so that's really the mindset shift that I've taken. I've even got an app on my phone that, you know, gives me these encouragement lines every day. Awesome. And ever since I've installed that app, I've started thinking these great thoughts and thinking about, you know, great things are going to happen with my business. And I've been having the best January I've ever had in my business during a lockdown. So
I love it.
You need incredible. To share the app with us. What's the name of the app?
It's called I Am. It's called I Am. It's incredible.
I Am.
Awesome. We need to find sponsorship from the app.
Yeah, I'm not sponsored by them, and again, it's just you know, it's my attention is going there, right? So every time I see those positive messages, that's where my you know, attention goes, and it's really even helped with my confidence and everything. So it's been you know, it all goes back to mindset.
Yeah, you rewire your brain and you project the reality you want to live in, right? By like acting in a conscious way, not being reactive, being proactive about it in a very conscious way. So
yeah, it's
yeah.
interesting because it's something that, for instance, professional athletes study and perform on themselves. Because
Yes.
when we see them, at the Olympics, when you see them focusing on their next performance, along the circuit, and it's not that just they're wasting time or waiting their shift or their race. They are there programming their brain, and we call in some procedures, some routines in their mind that actually are able to carve out the best in terms of performance. And that's exactly the same mental training that we would need, especially now in tough times we are living in. And you're right. If you start thinking negative, your brain is pre-programming your failure. And vice versa, like you said, Sean. If you think positive, look what happens. It's not that you're actually bending reality to your will, of course. I wish you could, but it's not the case. It's that you are changing your perspective, your angle, your approach to the same thing. So, the same thing, the same episode, the same accident, the same meeting, the same whatever, can take a completely different shape, depending on how you proactive or reactive to that. And that's amazing. That's amazing in human nature. And too many entrepreneurs are, especially in our industry, in my opinion, are playing a little bit too much the grumpy kid in the corner, complaining constantly because the economy, because Corona, because taxes, because my clients don't see the value in what I'm doing, because the supplier charged me too much, because my wife is late, because I'm late, and my wife is going to give me hard time, whatever. But it's not this attitude that can drive a business and even take you anywhere. But look at what is happening here. Mauricio comes from Nicaragua, and he's here in Northeast Italy. Yeah. I'm wondering when in your life you would have, I wouldn't say imagine, but even, consider to travel so far away. Yeah. Right. And we are in the same room. And we have Sean. We have, Sean from Canada. We have, Martin from the UK. We have Según from Nigeria, from Africa. And look what happens. We are sharing more or less different backgrounds, but with the same humanity behind that. And in fact, that's why we are in the same Zoom call today. Because if we wouldn't share this attitude, we wouldn't be today here together. Yeah.
Well, what would take me now for I don't know if you have more time, but I would love to listen to maybe an anecdote, a story, a small short story about like something that you have done that actually succeed, and tell me like what was the factor that make that endeavor to succeed, to work out the way you thought it would be.
Well, I've just downloaded
one positive case scenario of
I've just downloaded Sean's app, so there's a positive.
You got the app?
Oh, yeah, you've got this.
I got the app.
I'm serious.
It's a great commercial, Sean.
Sean, that's what I call a proactive gang of brothers.
But just have a look over the next couple of weeks and just see, did something change for you? Like it's incredible. At least the change that I've noticed.
There you go, positive action there. What more do you need to say? It happened live.
Yeah.
So that's a great success story.
I guess I'm happy to share a success story. It kind of started with again the story that I shared earlier about a failure I had from a marketing initiative. So again, what I learned from that is that I need to target the right clients. And so that led me to reach out to an individual here in my city. I actually play hockey with him, so I got to know him a little bit that way. But he's involved in all these incredible luxury businesses here in my city. And so his clientele are clients that I would love the opportunity to work with. And so it took a little bit to, get around the right mindset to actually approach him, in terms of creating a partnership or an alliance, because he had seen some of my photography. And eventually I just went for it and invited him to my studio, just an open invitation. just to kind of show him, you know, some of the beautiful GraphPro wall art, but, you know, also what we could create for some of his clients. And so he came over, and we had a great discussion, and that led to, you know, a succession of new opportunities. You know, one of which would led to being introduced to one of his business partners, which gave me my highest sale I've ever had for my studio here. But it's also opening doors to a lot of luxury dealerships within my city. It turns out that he knows, you know, a lot of the people that run these dealerships. And so he's helping to set up some meetings for me as well with my studio. So, but that all came from, you know, having the right mindset that, you know, my photography and my business was worthy enough to, you know, invite him to my studio, and again, have the confidence to present to him and show him, you know, the value that we could create for his clientele. And so I'm really excited for 2021 when, you know, we can get these meetings going and hopefully some of these new alliances set up. So I'm really excited about that.
Nice. That's the right mindset.
That's right.
Love it.
Yeah, you know, there's something funny in talking about a positive experience or even a negative case history, which happens. But it's something funny that I learned many years ago. One of the first times that I visited the US, I remember that I was almost shocked as an Italian because my US competitors were coming to have a coffee with us, like, you know, hello, you know, welcome to our country, you know, how's it going? And then they were starting talking about their troubles, like their weaknesses or things that happened that didn't work well and how they address it, or asking even for advices. And it was like, you know, having my coffee, it was like, as an Italian, for an Italian standpoint, it was like, why the hell are they sharing their, you know, their troubles with me? Aren't they scared that I might copy or see things to be even more aggressive? No. Reality is that they were in a light year ahead of me, and they were sharing things, not with a competitor, but with another, you know, player in the industry, possibly trying to make the whole industry.
A colleague, yeah.
Right? A colleague.
Yeah.
Making the whole the whole industry better in a way.
Yeah.
And actually, I reset my mind in that respect, and I found it a brilliant and very inspiring experience that actually changed me ever since. So yeah, you know, just talking about negative things sometimes is what we need.
Like going back to what Sean said about being open and like reach to other people really and ask and like really be confident and find those way to a strategic alliance with some other people or players as well. And like you say, like think about the greater good for everybody, and then going a little bit beyond yourself so you can really jump those barriers and really trying to elevate everybody at the same time, you know, from the selfish point of view. No, I like it. What do you guys, Según, you want to share something about this positive experience that you had? Someone
sure, I mean.
Oh, sorry, do you mean Martin? Mauricio?
Según, I said.
Oh, me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Sorry, I thought you said.
For me, I think it dawned on me that I really need to pay more attention to family. Like, so I'm trying my best now to like pay more attention to my parents, because I know most of the time I'm not around. I'm always traveling, and I just got married in 2019, so I need to pay more attention to them. So me being in Nigeria is giving me that mindset to always think about my family first. So, and I'm happy that I do that every month. I pay attention to my parents. I still saw them last week. So that's a big joy for me.
I also think moving on from this positive mindset, it's also I think really important and something that I've gained over the years is just be nice, just be a good person, be nice to everybody. And what I mean by that is that when I went for the role that I have now, there were 70 other people who went for it, and eventually I got the job. But what happened then is when I got involved and looked at the people that we needed to be involved to make it more successful, it's just people I'd known over the years. Our president at the moment was the head of Fujifilm in the UK, and he's very well respected. And because I've been nice and friendly with him over the years, he kind of agreed to take it on. And other people that we've got involved, Scott Johnson and Paul Wilkinson, these are all people that I got to know through Graphistudio or through the career I had before. And I just think if you're a good person, and I think combined with a positive mental attitude, and you're nice to people and you're not rude to people, that you make so many friends, and they'll come back and be so helpful to you when you need them, or when I offer to help anybody else who contacts me. I think that's a really, really important thing to stress, that don't be as Dario was saying. I was always one of the first to go and speak to our competitors and be friendly, and wherever they're from. And even now today, I've had conversations with 3 other heads of 3 other associations in the UK, and we're starting to work together to do things for the industry and not just for our own members. And that's just being polite and being nice, and having a good attitude to everything, and just trying to stay positive. So yeah, I think one of the things that kind of Sean came out and Dario came out is, there's a saying, isn't there? Be careful who you kick on the way up, because they'll kick you on the way down. So don't burn bridges.
I love it. So, and guys, I feel like we all been talking about this along the conversation, but I just want to say it, ask you straightforward, like, can you talk about how being part of a community, how make the difference in a personal level and also in a business level, how this has happened? Because I know the community is huge for success. And when I say community, I want to also imply family as a support system. That's where the start, and then we have our community, our neighborhood, and then we have institutions, and then we have our cities, and then all international now. But we are part of a group, and then we are all humans, and we are all like wanted to share energy and connect and grow. And how this process of community building or for you to be part of this as well, have play a role in a personal and in a business level?
I might pick up that first. It's such an important part. I think that what I found is through this industry, that we all speak the same language, whether we're, wherever we're from in the world, we all speak photography and everything to do with that. And I think that binds everybody together, firstly. And I think that the communities are so important. I mean, when we talk about personally, a lot of my social friends and things that I do socially are with people who are in the industry that have become friends. People I can count. 2 years ago, I took a trip to Iceland to do a personal project. I just always wanted to go. And it finished up that we were having to fight people off to come with us. And 2 of them were photographers who have been customers, but are now personal friends, and my brother. So these communities, they become family. And it's always said about the Graphi family or the Graphi community. It really does feel like that. And the people I've got to know, or the people I've gone to Castle Ciccone with, or the people I've met in the States or in Vegas, or all these different events. We can have a conversation with Yervance, let's say, from Australia, or Sean in Canada, or Jerry now in Vegas, or it's a family. It really is. And both from a commercial point of view, from a business point of view, but also personally, I think that as I say, my friends, most of my friends now, or a lot of my friends, have come from the community which is photography.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I share, the same thing that Martin's saying. It's really, it does feel like a family. And also, being part of a community really helps you get up the learning curve a lot quicker. Again, it's all about who you're surrounding yourself with. And I think from a business perspective, I want to be part of communities that are operating at a very high frequency, so that, you know, it'll help me push myself and help me grow as a business owner to, you know, achieve the same success. And so again, being part of you know, great communities within this industry, you know, again, really helps to you know, build your business up, and then also form the right mindset, right? If you want to be operating at the highest level you can. And you know, it's amazing how you can surprise yourself, you know, things that you never thought would be possible, you know, when you're thinking about where you want to be and actually achieving those things. It's quite remarkable. So and that's, you know, again, really why it's important to be part of communities, and not just going in it alone and trying to do everything by yourself.
That's right.
There's for me, there's one thing I know. They say if you wanna grow, see, if you wanna grow, if you wanna grow, you don't go alone. You know, you grow with other people. And for me, being part of different communities like Fearless and so on and so forth. I've been to Romania for a workshop. I was in Italy for I think a conference is where I met Arias. I hope I got your name right. Yes. So
Yes.
so traveling around the world, meeting people, seeing people, growing together. Like for me in Nigeria, the conference which we kind of like do every year has been a great eye opener for a lot of people in my country. Most people were not able to like travel to see photographers they admire, but they've been able to like meet all those photographers coming to Nigeria and kind of like relate to them on the same level. It's not like for example, we had two-man studios in Nigeria sometime in 2019, and and people were really like, they were happy. They were so it was more like love in the building. Like everybody had love for each other, even to the point that two-man studio said, you know, the next conference you're doing, we're gonna sponsor 3 people. I'm like, wow, really? You understand? So for me, community is all about growing together, moving in the same frequency, and I'm doing great things. That's for me. Yeah.
I think we lost the last part, Según. Sorry, your audio is there. Okay, now you're back. So we lost the last part.
You saying?
As I said, community for me is all about, you know, going in the same direction, the same frequency, and doing great things. And you know, then when you are left alone, you look back at the guy that sat down next to you in the conference, and you admire his work. You know, you can call him up, and he can tell you some tricks that he did. You know, just like getting close to people. That is what community is all about for me.
Yeah. What you say reminds me. They say this, like, if you want to go fast, you go alone.
Yeah.
If you want to go far, you walk together. Right? That's exactly.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I got you, man.
I was trying to think, man.
Got you, bro.
Like, man, for a sec.
Yeah, you know, there's, you know, it's interesting what all of you have said, because especially, you know, about community. And sometimes people, you know, I found myself talking about Italy and our history and this and that, blah, 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 the Roman Empire and the rest, and so on and forth. So, and some asked me once, you know, which was the main strength of the Roman Empire? And everybody were like, oh, of course, legions. So their army was super powerful. They were all over the place. They were fighting and winning every war. And no, it was because the emperor. No, it was about Caesar. No, it was about this and that. You know, which was the you know, the main thing, the main factor that actually turned a little village that formerly became in a Rome into an empire that at the time was ruling the world, the known world at least. It wasn't the army, it wasn't Caesar, it wasn't anything else than the roads. So building roads and connecting this, you know, huge, vast area was the real incredible power of the empire. So in other words, connecting people, moving goods, you know, making sure that the news, the informations, and therefore knowledge, we might say today, were traveling, circulating as fast as they could. That was the secret weapon of the Roman Empire. And I believe that in our industry, in any industry, even in the modern economy, in the fast-paced economy that Mauricio was referring to before, that's the key. We need to, we need ideas circulating, and the more, the better.
And I would just add to that unity. That feel like I believe that the light of unity can illuminate, the whole mankind. Where there's unity, you have everything to really move forward and succeed. So I don't know, guys. I thank you very much.
Yeah.
Really, I love this conversation that we have, and I want to know a little bit about what you guys have going on in your life. If you have, I know you guys do classes, maybe a future conference or something that you guys would like to plug in, and then everybody else that is listening right now, we'll let to know, if you guys are doing something else that we would love for you guys to talk about your next projects in the future.
Well, we're gonna do something up at Chicone Castle, isn't that right, Dario? He didn't know until right now.
Good to know, actually. Thank you for letting me know. But you know how we call it, right? The home of all the photographers. And you know that place is actually your home.
Yeah, no, thank you. From my point of view, it's and I know we weren't going to talk about COVID, but I just can't wait for us all to get kind of back to attending trade shows and being able to meet each other again, and the services that we kind of supply to our members is kind of all had to go online. But it's not the same. It's not the same as meeting people, shaking people's hands, giving people a hug, and we can't wait to get back to that and to meet you guys all again somewhere in the world, and renew our friendships everywhere. That's what we're hoping for and looking forward to. And as I say, now because we're kind of leading the way with vaccines, who knows? We might be doing it a little bit quicker than we thought. So we'll get through this first quarter. Hopefully, then we'll start seeing things return to normal, and then we can all get kind of back to this amazing industry that we all love.
Awesome.
Yes, we wait for you here.
Yeah. So. I guess in the near term here, I'm speaking at Imaging on Saturday. So I have a couple of classes that I'm doing online, of course. So I'm looking forward to that, as well as going to WPPI here later this year as well. So I love going to that conference and of course seeing everyone there. And it's great that they were able to move that and
yeah, it's the first time in August, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then. As I mentioned before, my focus now is really around sort of fine art portraiture and creating these incredible alliances that I was talking about before. So that's going to really be my focus this year. I'm still doing 10 weddings that I have this year as well. A few of those are destinations, so we'll have to see, with travel restrictions if those will happen. And yeah, really looking forward to the getting back to community and meeting in person.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And Sean, you get the certificate for the best lit interview that I've ever seen. The lighting is brilliant in your
I know, right? I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Studio lights, everything.
He's a pro. He's a pro.
Yeah, that's the well, everything was online, and I figure may as well set it up and go with it.
Beautiful.
Yes. For me, I can't wait to see you all in Nigeria someday, have Graphistudio come to Nigeria, have British Institute of Professional Photography come to Nigeria.
Yes.
That would be amazing. Because, you can also ask Mauricio, you can give your feedback of how we treated him so nice. He felt like a king, in Nigeria and all that. so yeah, right now it's difficult that we can't really see people, come together. Online is not just fun for me. Online is just something like the distance. Man, I love to meet people. I love to stay next to somebody, have their handshake, be happy and stuff like that. Sometimes, get married. Like Mauricio, when you were in Nigeria, we kind of hanged out. We went to different restaurants, different places. It was fun. So I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait for the whole COVID thing to come to pass and we can all connect once again. Yeah.
And we also wait for you here.
I know, man. I'm coming. Don't worry, I'm coming. Definitely will be there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. It's been lovely and really inspiring.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, guys, we can't thank you enough for joining us today to this talk and during the Imagine USA Virtual Show 2021 and the Graphic Live from Castelciccone, that, as I said, is home of all the photographers. Therefore, it's your home. Okay, all of you. Según, we wait. Yeah, we wait for you. Let me thank my friend Martin. Martin, it's been a pleasure to have you here today with us.
Thank you, Daria.
So I really miss the island, let me say. I can't wait to be back.
Yeah,
and,
good.
Sean, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Really
for carving out the time and joining our conversation today. Según, you are let me say you are the most elegant photographers in lockdown ever.
Yes.
From an Italian man, that's a big thing. So
a big compliment. Wow.
Thank you. And Sean, whenever I'm in Canada, I'll surely see you. I'll keep in touch.
Yeah, definitely reach out. Yeah, I'm in Calgary.
On Instagram now. I'm sure I'm following you. I'll look.
Yeah. Let's make it happen. I tell you guys, Nigeria is a big thing for wedding. I tell you, just in case you don't know.
Yeah. Yes, it is beautiful. It's an amazing place to visit.
So thank you to my fellow Mauricio for
thank you, Dario,
for joining me today. And
we made it.
We made it. Thank you again, guys, and see you soon. As soon as possible.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, guys.
All the best.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Take care of you and your families. Bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Ciao.